Hello and welcome to our scoop. Be sure to subscribe and hit the like button if you enjoy this video. Story 1. I, 25F, told my husband, 26M, to go sleep with his mom instead, and now we are getting a divorce. Update/repost, since it was taken down. Context. We live in Utah, but his parents are Catholic. About 3 months ago he brought up kids even though we both got married knowing we don't want any. My husband and I moved in together when we got married early last year and have been together since high school. When we first moved into our apartment after we graduated, things were great. We split the chores evenly. Although he fed and walked our dogs more than I did. Around September he started sleeping in the guest bedroom. I'm a night shift nurse, so this isn't totally out of character because he works as a trainer at a gym and has regular hours. But he stopped sleeping in our bed even on our days off. He's gotten more religious. I found a Bible in our kitchen with notes in his handwriting. He stopped doing his part around the apartment. Before, he would walk the dogs and feed them on the days I work. Now I come home and more often than not they are in their kennels and I have to walk them after being on my feet all night. When I wake up their bowls are still empty and our one dog is so old he can't hold his bladder for that long, so he pees in the kitchen. The sweet boy knows it's easier for me to clean up the tile. Husband gets up early, so I don't know why this is happening. He has a long lunch break where he normally comes home to take care of them. This is especially hurtful because I make sure to do everything when I'm off and he works. Dishes from whatever he was eating the night are consistently in the sink or on the counter, and although he doesn't sleep in our room anymore, he leaves his dirty laundry lying around. When I confronted him, he did apologize. But he said he was under a lot of stress at work. And he felt like he needed more support here at home than what I was giving him. I'm not trying to devalue his feelings or anything. But he works at a gym. I work in an ICU. One of my favorite patients died last week and he never knew how much I cried that day. My work makes him uncomfortable. So I don't talk about it around him. I didn't say any of this. Instead, I asked him how I could support him more in our home, and he stated, and I quote, "I need us to start falling into our God-assigned roles." I can't say I remember much else of what he said. Essentially, it was some things about him being a leader and me being a follower, and that I should do the majority of the chores. He felt like he wasn't as happy as his parents were in their marriage. This took me by complete surprise. Too angry to say anything else. I said, if you want to live with someone who will cook and clean for you while you do nothing, then go sleep with your mom. I don't know why I said it. I think I was extra frustrated. Because the dog pissed on the floor again, but now I'm at work. Crying on my break looking up the cheapest couples therapists. I know he's in the wrong. But was that going too far? Is couples therapy going to be enough? Someone help me know what to do and where this came from. Update. We spoke when I got off work. I showed him the post. Specifically the comments about cheating and cults and mental health, and he admitted that he's been seeing one of his co-workers. I wish it ends there. He broke down and cried. He confessed he's been sleeping with her and that they're trying for a baby. I didn't mention in my post that he'd changed his mind a while ago about having kids, while I still don't want any. He said I wasn't allowing him to follow God's plan, so I forced him to seek help from Hagar. This is some Bible reference that went over my head. But I googled it and I'm sick. I don't even know who this man is anymore. Not wanting kids has been a big source of friction in the past 3 months or so. But there had never been any signs things would get this out of pocket. We went into this marriage against kids. I know we're young, but that will never change for me. I guess I should have seen the writing in the wall. I'll spare you guys our fight. My best friend helped me pack my essentials up. She's been stalking this Hagar's Instagram. Saved me from coming up with a nickname. Apparently she's a big traditionalist Bible thumper in the LDS church. Not so traditionalist to keep her hands off a married man. But that's besides the point. Her only goal is to find a husband and be a stay-at-home mom. More power to her. Someone's got to do it. She can have him. They can pump out 6 kids with his minimum wage. I think this is my sign to start travel nursing. I'm spending a good chunk of change breaking our lease, getting the heck away from him, and finding a lawyer. Me and my dogs will be better off at my mom's house for now. If he wants them, he'll have to take them over my dead body. I'm going to sleep though. I haven't slept in almost 24 hours. Thank you guys for helping me on this insane journey. I'll find therapy when I can afford it. Comments. Winter_dragonfly_452 commented, "Yeah. He's not religious if he's cheating on his wife with somebody else. I am pretty sure the Bible is clear about cheating on your spouse. It's fine that he changes his mind about wanting kids and getting into more religion, but first, you get divorced before you find someone else and try for a baby with them. I'm sorry you're going through this. Sending you a hug from a stranger on the internet." From Finest 30. He is a major a-hole. An unintelligent one at that. What Bible is he reading? He committed adultery, which the Bible is strongly against, and he still had the guts to preach about God. Baby girl. Contact the best divorce lawyer and get rid of the trash. Celebrate with your friends and become a travel nurse. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Congratulations. You dodged a missile. And Grimwall says, as someone who was religious, God only forgives the remorseful. He isn't sorry. And he is following his own hedonistic and selfish impulses. Any forgiveness he thinks he'd receive is fabricated in his own head. Lastly, Hagar is a servant woman who was basically treated like a maid or ex-slave and is a representative of a battered and abused woman who was basically at the whims of the men around her. The woman who owned her basically offered her as a surrogate to her husband because she wouldn't, or couldn't recall, have her husband's kids. He's saying he had to turn to a vulnerable and lesser woman to have kids because you weren't going to give them to him. Story 2. I, F30, caught my boyfriend, M37, of over 3 years, cheating on me over the weekend. I took a trip to Chicago with my partner. We originally met in Dallas during COVID. Friday night, while we were riding back from a sporting event in an Uber, with both of us in the back seat, I saw a text come up on his phone. It happened fast, but I could tell it was someone's flesh, and he very quickly got out of the text and then swipes left to delete the whole thread on iMessage. I was like, what was that? He replies with a nothing. He then gets on his phone again and I see his passcode. I jot it down in my notes. We get back to the hotel and I see him on Uber Eats. So I'm like, oh, I'm hungry too, what are you getting? He tells me to order my own food on my account. I'm like, okay. Weird. And he seemed annoyed with me. I pull up my own app and peek over at his phone to see what he might be getting so I don't order same genre of food, and he's looking at another woman. Pausing on her body. Going to her page, zooming in. All while I'm next to him. I say something and he totally gets defensive and says, I'm not dealing with this, and he leaves the hotel room at about 9:30 p.m. He doesn't come back until after 4 a.m. When I woke up and he was still sleeping off whatever he did the night before, I got his phone off the nightstand, went in the bathroom with it and locked the door. I go to my notes and miraculously, I got the password right and his phone unlocked. I start going through his phone and he had dozens of other women. At 1 a.m., while I was waiting for him to come back, he sent someone saved as Chicago, $300. The woman he added in Chicago admitted that my boyfriend was all over her and her friends, and they made out. There was a woman he had a one-night stand with in New Mexico 2 weeks before. Multiple women in Colorado the week before that. Multiple women from our home state in Texas. And women he met in Chicago when I was working from home in the room while we were on a trip together. He was sending them money. They were exchanging explicit photos. He's been inviting them on trips. Telling one to come and visit the day after I was set to leave. Mind you, he's been telling me he loves me and he wants a family with me for years. We never use condoms, and apparently, he's been cheating on me with multiple women for over a year. I reached out to many of these women to warn them, and they had no idea I existed and confirmed he never mentioned having a long-term girlfriend. Never used condoms with them either. and that he touted himself as being a godly man with morals. He had me abort our child in 2021 because he didn't want to be a father and he didn't want me to be a single mother. But what's so disgusting about that is that he's been sending single moms money and flowers and acting like he's in a relationship with them. I had no idea he was living a double, triple, quadruple life. He had nothing to say when I confronted him. He had no remorse. He literally told me, "I have no empathy for you." I freaked out and flew back to Dallas on Saturday with my heart shattered. That same day I left, John was already lining up my replacement. One of the women showed me that while I was crying on my flight back to Texas. John was literally recruiting my replacement the same day. I reached out to multiple women that he had been exchanging with. The women were disgusted and had no idea. One of them told me that she met him at a hotel party a year ago and he tried to have a threesome with her and some drugged-out girl, and that the other girl started getting intimate with him right in front of her. "We were definitely together last year, I just feel sick." I feel lied to. This man had told me that he wanted to marry me, that he loved me and that he would do anything to protect me. And the whole time he's been a stranger. A couple of weeks ago, we were supposed to go see the balloon festival in New Mexico. He created a fight with me for seemingly no reason and uninvited me. After comparing the timelines, I came to find out he made that fight with me so that he could spend the weekend with some other woman, and he somehow put all the blame on me so that he could pull this off. He didn't talk to me that whole weekend to punish me so he could have the time and space to cheat in peace. The woman confirmed to me that they had slept together unprotected in New Mexico, and the next week he came back to Dallas and had me meet his family. I feel so betrayed knowing that the last 3 years were a lie. He has not apologized for anything. He does not care that he had me abort our baby in 2021. He does not care how much that affected me or how traumatized I have been. He does not care that he planned a whole future with me and acted like he wanted to marry me and have the family that we were meant to have. None of it makes any sense to me. He still has yet to say sorry. He has no remorse. I thought I was gonna marry this man. I thought he was going to be my family. I thought we had a future. My whole world has been turned upside down. And he doesn't seem to care at all because he has dozens of other women that he's been stepping out on me with throughout the entire relationship, and I had no idea. I don't know how I'm ever going to trust again. I don't know how I'm ever going to love again after I've been stabbed in the back to this degree. My question to you all is, how do I heal? How can I move forward? How can I not keep this from affecting how I view love with men in the future? I feel broken. Any tips would be greatly appreciated. I am honestly in hell right now and it's hard for me to sleep. I dream about the betrayal and I'm not sure how I'm ever going to be the same again. My whole life went from thinking I was going to soon be married and having babies to not knowing what the future holds at all or if I'll ever be able to trust or love again. What do I do now? I feel broken. I have been gaslit, lied to and cheated on for at least a year. I'm getting tested this week. How do I stop ruminating on the betrayal and how do I begin to get over this? I'm in a lot of pain and I don't know what to do. Please help me. Opinion. In my opinion, it will be hard to get over this. But that doesn't mean that there aren't good guys out there that will treat you way better than this. Unfortunately, you happen to be with a guy who is not such a good partner, but definitely a good pretender. Don't for a second think that this is your fault. This is his own character flaw. Even if it was another woman, I'm sure they'd meet the same destiny. He is not ready for a relationship at all, at least not a closed, monogamous relationship. He can't stay loyal to anyone, and it shows. You still have time. You are a good bit younger than him. So go find somebody that will not waste your time and just look at the fact that you only wasted 3 years on him versus 10 or 30 as the bright side. Finding pros in the things that happen in our lives make everything feel better and more positive. You have more to live for than a liar and a cheater. I honestly wish you the best. And I hope you find happiness, relationship or not. Story 3. My 25F boyfriend, 26M, lives off me. Should I send him back to live with his parents? Hi, to you all. First post. But I needed to get this off my chest. I have been with my boyfriend for a little over 2 years now. We officially started dating in September 2021. When we first started dating, we were both students. I was in the last year of my bachelor's degree to become an executive assistant, and he had 3 years left, last year of his bachelor's plus 2 years of his master's, studying economics. He was still living with his parents. And I was in an apartment I rented with money from a student job plus some financial help from my parents. As I have a dog, and his parents have cats, we mostly saw each other at my place. Living alone, my place also offered more privacy. I sometimes went to his parents' house to eat and spend the evening, but couldn't stay sleeping as I had to take care of my dog daily. For the first 2 months, I would say, he was at my place 3 days a week. And by the end of the year, he had moved in with me, never been officially invited to move in. It kind of just happened. I was happy about him moving in as I enjoyed his company. Once it had been almost 2 months that he lived at my place non-stop. I asked him if he planned to take a job to help pay for food and stuff or if he could ask his parents to chip in. He refused to ask his parents as he didn't want to bother them with that. And did not want to take a student job as he wanted to focus on his courses at university. So I was kinda trapped, having to pay for everything for the both of us. And that was financially hard on my student self. He talked about taking a job during the summer and giving me money then. So I just carried on, trusting his words. By the summer, I had graduated and got offered a job where I did my internship. So I started working as soon as July 2022. And my parents stopped helping me as I now had a fixed revenue. During the summer he worked for 1 month. And spent that money on himself, games, clothing, a watch, a tattoo. So he still didn't participate in the expenses. He pleaded that I had more money now, that I worked more than when I was a student combining my student job and parents' help. Which is true. And since I could make it work for a whole year, I could keep making it work. This really bothered me. I asked him again to ask his parents for some help. And he once again refused and started ranting about how I couldn't understand as my parents make way more money than his. And how it would be disrespectful for him to ask them now that he left home. I still don't understand how it is my responsibility to feed a grown man. That summer he also chose to change his study option, starting again from zero. He now had 3 full years to study again. So I also had to provide for him for at least 3 full years. As I do flex work, I am home 2 to 3 days a week, and quickly realized he didn't go to his classes. We talked about it, and he said he didn't need it. And during his first session of exams in January, he only passed half his exams. I was so mad at him. As to me, he was not making any effort to pass his classes. Didn't go to class. Did not take a student job. Made me pay for everything. And even sometimes blamed me for being cheap. He didn't even take his exams in June. So he failed and decided once again to change what he was studying. Now he just started a 2-year course, if he follows through. I still pay for everything. And this really affects our relationship. Sometimes I even think about breaking up. I feel like he is not mature enough, not only financially. I don't know if I will be able to keep this up. I told him recently that I consider he owes me. And he thinks that's unfair of me. Should I send him back to his parents' house as long as he doesn't agree to pay a part of our expenses? Comments. Vexbox commented, "What would you tell your best friend if they laid this out to you just as you have to us? If you say anything other than, break up with the mooching loser, you're a crappy friend. Break up with this mooching loser." And OP replied with, "You're right, if I try to look at it from the outside. I would give the advice to end it. Twith Honey said, my guess is he can't ask the parents for money as they have washed their hands of him financially. At worst, he is a leech, at best, he is selfish. Telling him that you will no longer pay for him and that he can't stay with you and has 4 weeks to work it out will tell you which it really is. Just know though you may have to formally evict him if it gets ugly. Also have a friend there when you tell him, as my gut says he will get aggressive. Okay, _smoke_1056 added. Chances are he's bragging to his parents about how great his life is but neglecting to tell them that OP is paying for his great life. Asking his parents for money would be admitting he is a failure. OP. Next time you visit his parents, casually mention how expensive everything has gotten with inflation and trying to make ends meet on a single income. If the parents ask, what do you mean, you'll know the mooch has been talking himself up. OP responds to this by saying, we see his parents pretty often, 3 to 4 times a month, and I don't have the feeling that they wouldn't help him if he asked. They regularly propose to buy us something when they see a sale like, buy 2 get 2 free. But I do feel I should better have someone with me if I chose to end it or send him back. He has never been or shown aggression towards me. But he is very muscular and strong. So I don't want to take risks. And OP also says, I know he lied to them about his classes over this whole summer. He did not present any exams in June but only told them about his new plan at the end of September. And was being evasive about the exams he supposedly did go to. Opinion. But, in my opinion, you should definitely have a very serious conversation with him about this and let him know how much it really is affecting you guys' relationship. Let him know that you seriously cannot sustain this type of living. So it's either he helps out with the bills or your relationship will not work. He is obviously capable of working a job, especially since he is barely even going to classes, let alone studying for exams. His behavior is incredibly selfish. He says he does not want to bother or disrespect his parents, but has no problem doing those things to you. So you really need to take a step back away from how you feel to see what will be the best solution for you. Because he seems comfortable and content living off of you. If this is not what you want to do for the rest of your life, he either needs to change or you need to break up with him. Especially since you guys aren't even married and this behavior is already a problem. I hope all goes well. It's clear that you love him. So I genuinely hope that his behavior changes and you guys can have a healthy relationship. Best wishes. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next latest scoop.